Hello everybody, welcome. And how are you today? Okay, what we're going to do today is a guided meditation. I've already discussed with you that I've incorporated lots of the different philosophies that I have studied over my life, you know, taken from many monolithic religions, taken from spiritual traditions, paths. So I believe that we are able to tinker. As I always say, love, light and intention, and as long as you've got those, you can pretty much do what you feel is right for you. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to incorporate some of the Eastern chakras, meridians, and I'm going to incorporate some of the South American, the Peruvian Cuero ideas with a bit of sound, and then we're just going to do a guided meditation, just going through. So what we're basically going to do, we're going to work with the chakras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry. And then we're going to do an extension onto that. The Viracocha, which is the higher self. In Quechua, the Viracocha just stands for the source of the sacred, which is the halo, the higher self, your soul application, all of your souls, your many selves, your sub-personalities, all of the things, if you want to incorporate, you know, the psychology, psychiatry, spiritism, all into it really. That's what my intention is, so we can just be closer to ourselves. And as I discuss our worlds, we're just really incorporating our world into the way we are. So what I like to introduce, I always like to use a blindfold. And the reason why I use this, I'm not going to put it on yet, but I'll just give you an idea what it looks like. It's actually a snood. So why I wear this for is because it gives me the separation between the outside world, abstract matter, and my inside world, the non-ordinary, or the energy world. It just gives me the difference. So I can do this video, I can hear obviously, but it just allows me to shift from those different parts of my psyche. So I'm not going to incorporate any colour into this because I believe it just gets a bit too technical. Yeah. What I do like to use is my singing bowl from the East. And why singing bowls? It's just a sound. It's just, there's a relationship with various sounds that I feel act and react with various of our sensory, as I've already said, the ESP, the extrasensory perception. So what I'm going to do, we've got 4 quarters, okay, so we've got the south over there, the west, the north and the east. We have the Mother Earth, abstract matter, we have Father Son, okay. So what I'm using this bowl for is just to invoke those archetypes. There is a way I use, which I will do in another video, which is incorporating and bringing them in with symbology and with ideology, but for this one it's just a nice and simple meditation that I do. It's always better for me in the morning. It seems to be, oh well, I think it's afternoon now, but you know, before I start doing anything outside, so on and so forth, just because I feel for me it gives you a nice grounding when you're going into the outside world and there's a lot of busy situations, busy energy. And if you're watching this video, then that means that you're of a spiritual nature, so you'll know that as that we feel things physically and energetically. So it just gives me a nice psychic overcoat. So we're going to start off in the south, just bring in south, west, north, and we're going to slowly just bring in the archetypes, bring in the Mother Earth, the Father, Son, all that is, in a clockwise fashion, just around my room, leaving my energy bubble, my energy body in the centre, like I said to you, arm's length, either side. I don't know how much of that you can catch, but you know, so we're just a bubble within the centre, and I don't use the word protection, and I'll tell you for why, because the word protection, in my ideology, comes from a place of fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. So I like a word that one of my teachers coined probably 25, more than that, 27 years ago. I'm not going to mention any names, it's not that type of video, but psychic overcoat. Very similar, if we looked outside in the elements and it was raining, then you'll take yourself an overcoat, just to keep yourself sheltered. So it's a psychic overcoat, that's all it is. So let's start off by drawing in the 4 archetypes. Like we've said, 1, 2, 3, 4. Singing bowl that doesn't want to sing. So that's, oh, sorry, got to get myself another candle. These are the type of things, as I get experienced of making videos, I'll be able to make sure I've got my props. You know, and what I have these simple candles for, I'll quickly show you that. Okay. It's a simple candle, and the reason why I have it like that for is because what I'm trying to put together here is a very do-it-yourself DIY approach to spiritualism. Being able to be on the go, so if I'm going somewhere like a hotel for the night or something, I can take this with me, in essence. So what is this then? So what does this mean to you? Okay, this stone for starters. You know, people say these stones are generators. I'm pretty certain if there wasn't so much money in oil, you know, that we could extract from these the energy we need for our homes. A bit like this, you know, the Economy 7 storage heaters I used to have, which actually were really expensive, but I'm talking back, you know, back to the money factor, but the idea of being able to extract, because these, in my world and the energy world, these are energy makers, you know. Doesn't make a difference how big your stone is or how small, you know. This stone specifically comes from a place in Wales called Pennant Valley in Glamorgan. It was, I spent some weeks there at a TP reservation doing vision quests. That was following the North American shamanism's medicine wheel. So I tend to use the Quero idea now, which is of the mountains of Peru, which these stones I like to feel, because they're from the mountains, is the Apus, A-P-U-S. The Apus is the mountain spirits. I know, it all sounds very far-fetched, I admit, that's fine, I understand. But you must understand there are places in the country that you like. Some people like, you know, being in the busy time of town, that's fine. But I like the mountains. So these are the mountains of Wales. And as I said, in Glamorgan, it was a wonderful place. So for me, I could wrap that up and take that to a hotel room and still have my capacity, because we have the lights, which ultimately science tells us that's what we really are. All of these things that we determine as tangibility, the truth is we are just energy beings. Not spiritual, I'm just talking scientific. And the stone, to me, is a remnant of our body. So for me, it's the body and the soul. Very similar to the sacraments when you go to Christianity in Catholicism. You know, when you have the bread and the wine, the body and the blood of Christ. It's very similar. All of these religions and spiritual paths are the same, really. This is what I'm trying to get at. And this is what I started off by saying we can tinker. So that's what I use, I'll just use a light. So, we've now opened up the 4 senses. Yeah. We've got Mother Earth with us. Father, Son, the light. Now we are in a space where we can expand ourselves, expand our energy, and begin to move into an unordinary state. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'll do one more thing and then I'm going to put my blindfold on. Do you remember I told you the different chakras? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th chakra is called the Viracocha from the Quero, the source of the sacred. So, and the 9th chakra, which is I always keep open, is the divine. Or in Carl Jung's words, we have the inner world, the inner child, subconscious, your spirit world, your energy, the collective conscious, the divine, our connection to the divine, the superconscious. And that's how I see. So we've opened up it, we're going in to the subconscious. Because of this, now I'm going to show you, I don't know how much you can catch. What I'm doing, my Viracocha, my energy body now, my application of energy for all my lives are now open up around me, so it's present. Put my hands together like that. In all sacred, rituals, the prayer, if you go all over the world, especially the East, because that symbol, that energy connection between the superconscious, the divine, to the collective conscious, the spirit, to the subconscious, the individual energy body, that is a sacred sign. Works in a magical pass. So we've opened it all up now. So now all I'm going to do is take you through a guided meditation. And what we're going to do is open up our chakras, give them a bit of a, a bit of a makeover, a bit of love, open them up, expand them, nothing, too technical, and then just close them back up. Go back through the process of closing everything up. Okay, so now it's time. I've got no eye contact, obviously, but this is how I adjust. Now I've opened up all of the magic circles, so to speak. I'm going to put this on. And I'm just going to sit back now because you can't see me, and just allow you to hear my voice. Okay, I like to keep a nice shape. Okay, so we are ready. So we're going to start off by slowing our heartbeat down. When I view the human body, we say human body, but what actually is it? Science tells us that, in line with our modern discoveries of technology, we are an infinite amount of cells. I don't know if I read somewhere that there's more cells in the human body than there is people on planet Earth. So for me, I like to look at us as a colony, because you think, we've got all the organs, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, and we've got all of these, the mind. It was an interesting thing. Friedrich Nietzsche, I've studied a little, when nobody believed his stories, and now obviously, people talk about him with such love. These medical pathologists used to say to him, Frederick, all of this talk about mind you talk about, we've never seen this mind in an autopsy. So this is what I like to think. Mind, body, soul, divine, the 4 chambers. We are a colony, so each part of us has to work in unison like a colony was. And like the world is today, because we're not working in unison, the whole collective human race isn't working together, the colony isn't working, the vessel isn't performing to its highest standards. So, simple, you can do this yourself, you haven't got to subscribe or pay for any of this. These are things I've learned. So we're going to start off now, putting your right arm on your heart and just feeling for your heartbeat. Feel your vessel, your muscle, the part of your colony. And we're going to bring those beats down from about 60 beats per minute to about 30 beats per minute. And the reason why we're doing that is because we are entering into a non-ordinary reality. We are going into our subconscious. So how I do it is get air, breathe in, down to 3 times a minute. And how I do that is like this. I breathe in for 5. I hold for 5. I breathe out for 5. And then I'll hold for 5. So let's just do that now. 4, 5, out. 4, 5, hold. 4, 5, in. Out. Hold. In. Hold. And we just continue. In. Hold. Out. Hold. So guys, you'll notice now that the energy around your body is, your heart is beating slower, which is pumping the blood around slower, sending the messages to our mind slower, and opening our gateway to go into non-ordinary reality. Okay? Okay then, so what I'm going to do now is open all of our chakras. And the way I do it is like this. Remember, we have a connection now. Remember we said superconscious, collective conscious, subconscious, divine, soul, mind. So we have this opening up now in our sacred movements. So just get your hand, put it here, just above your pubic bone, and all we're going to do is imagine a flower. I like just the idea of a nice flower, whatever you like, and as we pull out, we just quickly say there's no right and wrong. Remember what I told you about your mind? It likes to take control and rewrite stories and tell you how wrong you're doing. All I like to do is a simple gesture of switching it off, and every time, you know, I've conditioned myself now to be able to differentiate between the different states of awareness. But when I began this, it was forever ruining my experience until I realised it is part of the experience. So we're just going to start it here, and we're not using any colours, we're just going to open up, imagine a flower, like you do in those, you know, geographical programs, coming out quickly, and there we go, okay? And then the leaves of the flower are just opening nice and beautifully, there we go, okay? And then just imagine the light coming through the 3 facets I've told you about, all the way down, and just open it up, feeding it with love. There we go. Open. Next we're going to move on just in your abdominal region. Just here, exactly the same. Switch the mind off. And let's just slowly open the flower. Beautiful. What I generally hear is air bubbles, which is significant to me in the spirit release training I did. It's just letting go of some pent-up energy. It's nothing personal. It's not going to hurt you. Maybe a bit of stress from getting the kids ready for school. I don't know. But that's what it used to be for me. My boy's old enough to get himself dressed now. So we're just opening the flower, opening the petals, sending the love through our facets. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. And like I said, you might start hearing your air bubbles just slightly go through and just let it evaporate. We're going to get onto that in a bit, so I'm just letting you know, this is the one where the air bubbles for me, my solar plexus. So start again, let's just switch the mind off, stop getting involved. Mind, it's not your job. I'm working internally, not externally. And we're just going to open the flower, coming out the ground, beautiful, the connection, open up the petals, and there we go. Send the love in, okay? And now let's just move on to the heart. Switch the mind off, and we can do this wonderfully. And we're just going to bring out the flower, open the petals, bring in the love, the light, the intention. There we go. Work on to our throat, switch the mind off, nice and gently, same again. If it's going a bit too fast, just pause the video. We're just going to open up, and there we go. Beautiful flow. Like I now can feel a little bit of trapped energy in here as I'm doing this. Like a fibre. Well, I'm going to, once we've opened up all of these centres, I'm going to give you just a nice and simple technique. If when you're doing it, you feel, and remember, you haven't got to go to these expensive places. You can do this yourself. As long as you open up the circle nice and gently, with the coordinates nice and gently, going through clockwise, with the 3 facets of the divine, the soul and the self, with the 3, love, light, intention. This is all for us to do ourselves. We don't need to go to any establishments. We can just sit in our own home doing it ourselves. We have the right. Okay, let's move on to the 3rd eye. Nice and gentle. I always get a tingling sensation here. Open up, switch the mind off if necessary, but mine's clear anyway. But I'm just reminding you guys, open up the petals of the plant. Oh, look at that. Nice and beautiful connection. It's so refreshing. A bit like having a spiritual makeover, a bit of a buffer. I used to work with people's energy bodies and just kind of give them a nice, like you probably would at a day spa for your body. Nice and smooth over the energy bubble, or as the, or the luminous egg, as the Castanadians used to say. And now we just go to the Fundella, the connection to the divine, the Viracocha, the higher self, and just bring it. That's already there, look, you see. Nice and simple connection. With the divine, I always have that opened. I always have a straight lateral line running from divine right through to Mother Earth, or super conscious down to self, or the Father, Son, the light, the Inti, into the Pachamama, the Mama. I always keep it open, suspended in love and light with intention. Okay, so now we've opened all those. Let us just now remember what we've done. The petals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Viracocha, the higher self, your soul. 9, divine. Obviously Eastern ones will probably stop at the Fundella. Okay, and remember they only call you that. Remember when babies are born, they're very soft at that area. That's what I like to believe is their psychic selves connecting to their bodies. Okay, so now we've got all these open. What all we can do now is visualization. Okay, that's all. Like I've discussed in other videos, what is love? What is love? It's difficult. We can always say why we love, who we love, how, but what? I like to picture, this is why I feel we have these archetypes, the various gods, Allah, the messengers, Muhammad, Christ, the various symbols, but I just have worked over a time to work of my own. So now I'm just going to give us a makeover. So we're just going to hold our hands over the bottom chakra and just send, imagine it spinning clockwise 3 times. And we're just sending like a waterfall of love. Just coming down off the mountain into there. Clearing out, imagine it going over the plant into its roots. It's just clearing out any residue energy that we've stuck to. You know, a lot of the Haitian spiritual traditions used to call it sticky. So we're just going to get it all out. And what we're doing now, okay, so we've got this small waterfall. I then visualise from the soul, the Viracocha, the higher self, I'm under a waterfall now, like a shower. I like to visualise I'm back in Pennant Valley where that stone was from, back in the mountains. Having a shower in the mornings, we did with a natural waterfall, just sat there. And we just, and all of this residue energy we've picked up through it could be anything, could be just a disagreement with your lover, your partner, your friend, it doesn't matter. And we're just sending it back to the earth. The waterfall is taking it back. The Mother Earth will always recycle any sticky energies and just send them back to the place they're needed. So we've done that, let's just do the same. Switch off the mind if you need to, just into the next one in the abdominal region. Send in that love, that waterfall. Clearing it out, it's a bit like I used to imagine jet washing the vehicles. I used to run delivery vehicles and I'm just jet washing them on a Sunday morning, you know. You're just doing that inside, so you're going to go 1, 2, 3, clockwise, clear them all out. Give it a good wash. You know, you haven't got to spend hours on this. In non-ordinary reality, you know, time isn't like it is in linear. It's very elastic. How many times have you been doing something you thoroughly enjoy and time travels a lot quicker than it does when you're doing something you don't? So we don't need to spend hours on this. It's just a simple intention combined with the love and light. That's important. So now onto the solar plexus, we're bringing it out. 1, 2, 3 clockwise. And now the connection to the sacred waterfall with the jet wash is clearing it out. In other videos I will, if it feels right, use colour and various other symbols we can work with. But for now, this is just a get up and go in the morning after your shower. Try to do it before you've eaten. I always find it's better, because my body's not trying to break down and process the food. Okay, that's fine. Move on to the heart. And switch your mind off. I'm not going to keep saying that, just... And then, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and we are just sending that golden water, the jet wash into it, cleaning it all out, combined with the sacred waterfall, taking all the sticky energy away and taking it back into the earth, ready to be recycled. And where possible, it's not easy for me whilst I'm talking to you, but where possible, try to stick to the breathing of 5 in, hold for 5, 5 out, hold for 5, which I find bring 3 times a minute you're breathing deep breaths, and it brings your heart rate down to about 30. So we've done that one onto the throat. And can you remember when I said to you earlier, I've got some residue, so 1, 2, 3, open. So all I do is this, I feel it and we can feel it. Just pick it up and I just put it into the fire. The great transformer. I blow it away and just continue. There we go. Just, you know, the throat chakra is very remnant with expression, so maybe it's something I couldn't get across. It's very simple, it's nothing to worry about. You know, when I shift my awareness, which I'll show you on other videos, how to look at the energy body and how you can gaze it and start by seeing the light around and then the various colours. And I see it as like little pockets, like air bubbles, I should say, like a fizzy pop, and they've been expanded, and I can kind of jump into these bubbles and create a story into a video, third party watching it. You know, I work very closely with fire. And why I do tell you these things, because a lot of these are sacred things that have been going through history for as long as we can. They say shamanism goes back maybe 80,000 years with some of the paintings they found in France with the sympathetic magic, which is basically earth magic. You know, I think it's user friendly. As long as you have the correct intention, you will be fine. Okay, we're just moving on to the third eye now. We always get a bit of a tingly. Turn your mind off if need be. 1, 2, 3, and same again. Nice golden light of the waterfall from the Wales. Beautiful in Pennant Valley, set underneath this every morning. Probably wasn't as nice as you think, because there was about 1 billion midges flying around us at any time. And when I was in the Amazon, even though Amazon rainforest in Peru, even though it looked fantastic visually, all these fireflies and all these, you know, if you see the size of some of these bullet ants, and, you know, I remember a girl in Pennant Valley was all very, oh yes, we're gonna free love and all that, and wandered around half naked, connected, and she got bit that many times, she had to go to hospital with septicemia. So you just got to be careful, you know, the nature is a very powerful ally. So in the rainforest we just put bicycle clips on our trousers so you never have these bullet ants running up them, and you're just very conscious that, you know, be careful. And in the mornings in the rainforest I used to swim with piranhas. Yeah, it was fantastic, and you just think why, but they only bite you if you're bleeding, so we'd put some sort of oil, so cast their paws, and Spirit's just telling me, get back to the meditation. Sorry guys, I don't have a tendency to drift. Okay, so now we've just got the connection here. I don't really do much with that, because we're just bringing in the light now. So let's just imagine and visualise the scene. We've got the divine, bringing light into our halo, down into our body, into our energy bubble, with all 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there we go. Let's just sit for some time with those 7 points, chakras, meridians, however you feel they best describe for yourself, with the connection, the halo, the Viracocha, into the divine, the superconscious, into the collective conscious, into the subconscious. Breathe it in. I always say a prayer this time, you know, I'm not going to vocalise my prayers because they're private, but I always believe no matter where you are in the world, what you're doing, there's always somebody who's having a harder time than you. You know, so, you know, so try not to think of the big wars or something, just think something personal in your life, somebody you know. You haven't got to really care for them, but just care for humanity and just send them love. Just visualise them, they're having a hard time, and all you do is the light from the facets we've discussed, bring it through your body, stop at the solar plexus, the flower coming out and the light's coming out, and just send the light to them. You know, a guy at works, you know, is having a marital breakup, he's having a really hard time. Let's just give him, and just imagine all this love with, obviously, love, light and intent. Could be anything. Okay, Spirit's telling me to draw to a close now. So now, I'm going to take off this now, because I'm now coming out of non-ordinary reality, back into this reality. It's just nice to connect with you again, rather than just hearing my voice. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to slowly close everything down. Nice and simple. So start off with the lower base chakra, and just imagine the flower closing its leaves, going in with your solid intention that you're closing. There we go. And the next. And the solar plex. And the heart, you haven't got to spend too much time. It's the intention that's important. And your throat, your third eye, your fondella. And remember when I said to you, I always keep my Viracocha there, the device. So with the Viracocha, I just like to push. I see it as a ball of energy in here, and I just like to push it up back into my collective self. You know, back up there now, the halo, and I just come back down. I leave the divine and the earth, abstract matter and energy, mother, father, and a nice lateral line. I keep it within me, within my energy bubble. Okay, so now just nice and simple, just imagine yourself back in this bubble, 2 foot around each, all the way around. Connected to this bigger bubble. This is when I said that we are just energy. And then back in, everything's closed, nice and simple, not protected as a rule because it's a place of fear, but just in our own safe space. And then I thank Mother, Father for everything. And now we go to the cardinal points, if you wish, or the elements. And I just acknowledge their being as part of our primary existence, really, as a universe. And I just slowly visualise, I thank them, and they just like just go up, however it works for you. And now we're closed. Okay guys, that's it. I hope it's helpful. You know, it's a bit of a trial and error thing for me. I've got all of this knowledge and wisdom, but I've got no experience of YouTubing and anything like that. So it is really just, you know, learn as you go along. But I do want to do something. Because I have little things. One of my passions is reading. It's always good to read a book you don't like. Because at least then you'll learn more because you'll be trying to enjoy it. And if I read something, you know, a little bit or a bit of writing from myself, and I write it on these postcards and laminate them or sellotape. So we're just going to go through and see where we are today. Oh, this is one of my principles of LTFL 96. Try not to make the same mistake twice. So what that means is, when my little boy was young, we only learn by mistakes. That's collectively, physically in this world and in the spirit world, we all make mistakes. That's why I feel we're here. So what I used to say to my lad was, we all make mistakes, son, but try not to make it again. And by that, I mean you're learning. Okay? Take it on board. See you all soon. Goodbye.